video, I'll be sharing with you a requested tutorial on how to cut this stylish Basque corset with doubled layered gathers. And this dress is from DHM Clothing. So if you haven't yet subscribed, please hit on the subscribe button. So to start, here is my pattern, and I have gone ahead to mark out the basic measurements that I need for this pattern, which includes my shoulder to bust line, my shoulder to under bust line, my shoulder to waist line. So for the basque length, I'm using 4 inches. And now you need to determine the total length of your dress. My dress is 35 inches minus the shoulder to waist, which is 17, because we are going to draft the shoulder to waistline first. So this additional 4 inches for basque is not included in the length of the dress. The basque is an addition to the front, to the center front, and to the center back. After that, you're going to mark your shoulder divided by 2, come down by 1 inch and draw your shoulder slope. Next, you're going to find your chest line, which is your bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches. Mine is 7, and I made a mark on that point and I connected. The next step is to go ahead to mark what you have on the shoulder back again. My shoulder is 14 inches divided by 2. I have 7. After marking that, I'll place my ruler and I'll connect to draw out a straight line at that point. After I'm done connecting, I'll fold it into 2 this way, and after folding it into 2, I'll come in by ½ inch at this point. So after I'm done marking that, you want to go ahead and mark your bust circumference divided by 4 at your chest line. So after you're done marking, you're going to connect from the upper part of your pattern to the ½ inch, and from that ½ inch you're going to connect all the way down to your chest line, forming your armhole curve. And after you're done doing this, the next step is just to go ahead to outline this. So after I'm done outlining this pattern, the next step I will be taking is to mark my nipple to nipple divided by 2. My nipple to nipple is 7 inches divided by 2. I have 3.5 inches. And I'll mark this all the way to the top length. After I'm done marking this, I'll go ahead to connect it, starting from the bust to the under bust to the waist, and I'll take this also down to my basque length. Next, you want to start marking your dart, and I'll be using a dart intake of 1 inch on both sides. Now, if you're plus size or you're a bit busty, you should consider using 1.5 inches, and I'll go ahead to connect this all the way from the waist to the upper part and to the top length. Now I'll also connect at the other side, and after connecting, I'll place my curved rule, connect from the bust to the under bust, repeat it at the other side of my pattern also. So I'll just go ahead and I'll use my marker to outline. So you want to determine where your cup will start. So I marked 1.5 inches after my chest line. You can use 2 inches, 2.5. It totally depends on what you want, but 1.5 is okay. So after marking that, I extended my nipple to nipple line. So I'll be marking a dart intake of 1 inch. I'll connect it at both sides of my pattern. For a plus size, you can also consider using 1.5 inches, and I'll go ahead to connect this. So after I'm done connecting this, I'll start by inserting my measurement. I'll mark my bust circumference divided by 4. Measure this dart intake here, replace it, or you can as well go ahead and add 1 inch and then add my sewing allowance. For this pattern, you can determine if you want to use ½ inch or more for your sewing allowance. Mark my under bust circumference divided by 4, measure the dart intake, replace, and also add my sewing allowance. So I want to take out 2 inches from my waist. My waist is 28. If I take out 2 inches, I have 26. That 26, I'll divide it by 4, and what I have is 6.5, which I marked. Replace the dart intake and add my sewing allowance. Now I'll place my ruler and I'll start connecting this line from this part all the way down. So after I'm done connecting this way, I'll go in, and you're going to go in by your sewing allowance, then ½ inch also, so that your waistline at the back will match up with what you have at the front. So I'll just go ahead and blend in my dart and place my ruler, and I'll now go ahead to connect this all the way down. So if you notice, mine did not really get up to the lower part. You can leave it this way or extend it all the way down. You want to come in by 1/2 inch from your chest line, and from that point I'm going to go ahead to connect this all the way down to my under bust. And after I'm done placing and connecting at this side, I'll also connect at the other side of my pattern. But first I'll be drawing out the upper part of this cup, which I will blend into the upper part of the dart this way. So after I'm done marking this out, mark your nipple to nipple divided by 2 and add half. My nipple to nipple is 7 inches divided by 2. I have 3.5 plus 1/2 inch. It will give me 4 inches. I'll extend my cup to the side and then place it at that 4 inches, and I will connect my cup. So this is what I have on this side, and I'll go ahead to draw this out. Label this as A and B, and I'll label the rest of my pattern. So next I'll just go ahead and mark my bust dart. To get your bust dart is the distance between your shoulder to waist in front and shoulder to waist at the back. My shoulder to waist in front is 17 inches. My shoulder to waist at the back is 15.5. This is to make sure that your side or the side part of your dress matches up by the waist. So after marking this out, I'll just go ahead to cut this out. So while cutting this out also, I'll go ahead and blend in the side dart of this pattern, and I'll go ahead to pin it up. So this is just to make sure that the side of the dart, the side of the back pattern and the front also matches up together. Now I'll just cut this out, and this is what I have for the front pattern. So for this pattern, you're actually going to place your pattern together and you're going to place it on fold. So actually this dress has a boning at the center and at the both sides. So now I'll go ahead and I will join my cup with pin just as if I'm sewing it. So I want to make a little illustration on how the pleating on the cup was achieved. So after sewing your cup at the front part, go ahead and place another fabric on it, and you're going to pleat it all the way around. After you're done pleating, you're now going to trace out the excess, but before tracing out the excess, make sure you pin it down or you top stitch it all the way around, and now you trace out the excess. So this is how the pleating on the cup was achieved. Now the next step is this center piece or design that looks like a lacing in front. So that is not actually a lacing, it is just a design that was placed in front of the dress. So all you need to do right now is to go ahead to fold this into two. At least the length of the rope you're going to make at this part should be at least 70 to 100. So find the middle of that rope, place it this way, top stitch at the center of the dress. Now you're also going to top stitch by the side and cross it over here, top stitch at this end also, and you're going to fold it over. Now you also top stitch at the other side just this way, and you're going to fold it over, creating this design. Go ahead to top stitch by the side at this point, and also top stitch at this other side, cross it over this way. Now you do the same thing again. You'll be doing it repeatedly till you get to the end of this dress. So you're going to do this after you're done sewing the dress. You now place and top stitch it and leave about 1/2 inch or 1 inch near the waistline, and also remember to add 1/2 inch on your pattern, which you'll be using for your joining allowance for the dress. Now to cut this back pattern, since the sides of the front is going to match the back because we have blended up the bust dart, now all you do is just go ahead and trace what you have. And also the back has a basque, so which will also suit here. So from the chest line, come down by 1/2 inch and extend your line all the way to the armhole this way. So this is what your back pattern will be looking like, and go ahead to cut this out. After cutting out, go ahead and unpin it. Now you want to create the lacing area. You can use 1.5 inches or 2 inches, and you're also going to mark. After you're done marking this, go ahead and draw out a straight line. Now I'll just make these dots to indicate that we have a lacing bar at this part of the dress, and I'll just mark it all out. So now for this dress, you're going to join up your dress actually before you can go ahead to add the gathers at the lower part. So I'll just go ahead and pin this up as if I joined my dress, just to illustrate the lower part of this dress. So after I'm done pinning it up, this is what I have. And for the lower part, remember that what we cut out is our shoulder to waistline, and our shoulder to waistline is 17 inches, and the full length of this dress is 35. So you're going to take out the measurement from your shoulder to waist from that 35. So if I take out mine, I have 18 inches. So that 18 inches should be at least 3 yards on fold. That is 1.5 inches on both sides on fold, and the total length here, let's just assume that this is 18 inches. So now you notice there's a second layer of flay. So since the first layer of my flay is 18 inches, I'll be using 10 inches for the second layer. So now you have to go ahead and weave out the mouth separately, and after that you're going to gather it and top stitch on it so that it will become one piece. So after you're done top stitching on it to become one piece, go ahead to place it on your waistline following that shape. So you're going to leave about 1 inch on top or ½ inch on top, and then you're going to top stitch it on top of the dress. You're going to take this and you're going to on top of your dress this way, and you're going to do this all the way to the lacing bar area. So when you get to that lacing bar area, remember we took out 2 inches for the lacing bar at the back. So now instead of me replacing 2 inches, what I will replace is 1.5 inches. Why did I replace this 1.5 inches? This is because this dress has a basque at the back side. So if I use that 2 inches and replace it, it might come out not fitted at the waist. So I also want to tighten my waist with that. So after this, you'll be adding a 1 inch for your zipper allowance for the back. Now you're also going to have a pleating effect at this 1.5 extra inches here, but the only part that doesn't have a pleat is your zipper allowance. So next we are going to move to the neckline. So you notice that this corset is a backless neckline. So there are 2 ways of achieving that ruffle. But first, take your measurement from the chest line to your neck and down to the chest line. So any measurement you have, you need to cut out at least 3 times of that length. And what you do is to insert an elastic to it, and it will form these gathers. So if you don't want to use that measurement, after you're done cutting out the material to create the ruffle, go ahead to like fold a little fabric underneath it, and you now pleat this, and you go ahead to place and top stitch it. So with this, we have come to the end of today's tutorial. If you have any question, go ahead to ask.